South London, 1983. Brian Robinson and Michael McAvoy, two career criminals with a CV longer than the M25, decided to rob the Brinksmat warehouse near Heathrow. Their inside man? Anthony Black, a security guard with ties to the criminal underworld. Black wasn't just your average bloke though. He was the brother-in-law of Robinson and gave the gang all the inside information they needed to pull off the heist of a lifetime. On November 26, 1983, just after 6:30 a.m, 6 blokes, including Robinson and McAvoy, stormed into the Brinksmat warehouse, wearing balaclavas and carrying all sorts of weapons. They doused the warehouse guards in petrol and threatened them with a lighter, promising a light show if anyone misbehaved. In the chaos, the robbers cracked the vault, and what they found wasn't just a pile of cash, it was 3 tons of gold bullion. That's 3,000 kilos of pure gold, neatly packed into 152 bars, worth a staggering £26 million, which would be £111 million today. It was the sort of find that dreams are made of. They loaded 76 boxes of gold into a truck and took off, but here's where things went south. The gang quickly realised they had a problem. Gold is heavy, really heavy, and it's also traceable. They needed to get rid of it fast, or it would lead straight back to them. So they turned to Kenneth Noy, a shady businessman known for one thing: laundering stolen gold. Noy set up a smelting operation, melting down the bars and mixing them with other metals to make it look legitimate. But not everyone was on board. Mickey McAvoy, one of the main robbers, wanted his fair share of the gold. But Noy wasn't in any hurry to pay up. Tensions grew, and over the years, people connected to the heist started turning up dead. Some shot, some disappeared without a trace. Meanwhile, the police were starting to close in. The gold had left traces in the market, and when detectives found some of it in jewellery shops, they knew they had a bigger case on their hands. The investigation heated up, but as often happens in these kinds of situations, the criminals weren't always easy to catch. The police eventually linked Anthony Black to the robbery, but the inside man wasn't the only one in trouble. Noy, McAvoy, Robinson and the rest of the gang were still being pursued, and the investigation turned into a game of cat and mouse. In 1985, the case took a shocking turn. Detective Constable John Fordham, who was getting too close to the truth, went to pay Noy a visit. Noy didn't take kindly to that. In a brutal encounter, he stabbed Fordham 10 times, killing the officer. Noy claimed self-defense, and miraculously he was acquitted, walking away from the murder charge. But the gold, well, most of it vanished without a trace. Some of it was recast, resold, and blended into the market. And there's a chilling thought: anyone wearing gold jewellery in the UK after 1983 could well be wearing a piece of that stolen Brinksmat gold. The investigation continued, but the authorities had little luck finding the bulk of the gold. There were whispers about buried treasure and secret deals, but the truth remained elusive. A £2 million reward was offered for any information on the gold's whereabouts, but no one came forward with anything solid. As for the criminals, they didn't get off scot-free. The police kept chasing them, piecing together leads from smelted gold, financial transactions, and a few costly mistakes by the gang that helped the investigation. The breakthrough came when investigators linked Anthony Black to the robbery. Under pressure, Black confessed to his role and named the key players, giving detectives the evidence they needed to move in. McAvoy and Robinson were arrested and sentenced to 25 years for armed robbery, but by 2000, both were released on parole. Mickey McAvoy took his own life by overdosing on sleeping pills. He was found dead on New Year's Day, 6 months after his wife Kathleen died from a heart attack. Noy, meanwhile, served just 7 years before being let out on early release. But his freedom didn't last long. In 1996, he killed a man in a road rage incident, leading to another conviction and a 21-year sentence for the murder. He was released in 2019. John Palmer. Involved in laundering Brinksmack gold, Palmer was shot multiple times and killed in his Essex garden on June 24, 2015. His murder was linked to his criminal past. George Francis. Suspected of handling stolen gold, Francis was shot dead outside his courier business in Bermondsey in 2003. His murder is believed to have been orchestrated by rivals in the criminal underworld. Brian Perry. Convicted for disposing of stolen gold, Perry received a 9-year sentence in 1992. After his release, he was shot dead outside his minicab office in 2001, likely due to disputes over the gold and connections to other criminals. And that is the strange and twisted tale of the Brinksmack robbery. 6 lads thought they were going to make a bit of cash, but they ended up pulling off one of the biggest gold heists of all time. It wasn't just the crime that captured people's imaginations. It was the endless twists, the underworld connections, and the sheer audacity of it all. Some of the gold still hasn't been found, and to this day, no one knows where it's gone. So next time you see someone wearing a shiny bit of jewelry, just wonder where it came from.